What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Battlefield 6 campaign and these disappointing, concerning, rumors that we've been hearing really the last day or so. So I saw this post from Tom Henderson on Twitter. Turns out there's another individual that actually got to play the game himself, and Tom obviously very, very connected in the Battlefield universe. So it's not great to hear these things, but let's look at what they talked about with the campaign, and I'll go over my opinion on it. So Tom said, "I know a lot of people won't play Battlefield 6 for the campaign, but it looks like it needs a lot of work. It probably makes what would be a high 80s, low 90s Metacritic game a mid 70s at the moment." And then we have this individual, Big Fry TV, who says, "I was able to play 3 missions from Battlefield 6's single-player campaign. The developers invited me to test these missions, and unfortunately, in contrast to the incredible multiplayer experience, the campaign suffers from a clear lack of polish, and even more seriously, a lack of fun. At best, what we have here is an okay campaign, but when we look around and see how other companies do it, the comparison is inevitable. After playing these 3 missions, I can say with confidence how mode will be the weakest part of Battlefield 6. So not ideal. And, really to both of their comments, you think, how many people are playing Battlefield 6 solely for the campaign? And I'll answer that question, okay? And you guys can answer it in the comments, of course. But, so for me, I'm playing it with the hope that the campaign can be good, with the hope that the campaign can add something to it. Truth be told, I am playing this game for the multiplayer. It's almost like going back in time to the late 2000s, early 2010s, when you would buy the game for the single player, right? And they'd have those throw-in, multiplayer modes. And, at the time, a lot of them were very so-so or iffy. Honestly, I feel like they've all aged really, really well, and we should have appreciated them more. But, it was a similar conversation, only reversed, right? You're getting these games for the single player, but the multiplayer was kind of an afterthought, and it could enhance the experience. You'd have some of them that really took off, like Uncharted's kind of became something. Assassin's Creed for a time became something, right? And I mean, there were others, BioShock, Mass Effect, other things, but you had a couple of them that were pretty legitimately solid, right? They could really enhance the experience beyond the single player enhancing it. So in this case, it's the reverse. The multiplayer, for me personally, is the reason I'm buying it, okay? And it feels great from what I've played in those betas. It looks great, all that jazz. I have, a lot of confidence, and I feel good with the multiplayer. And again, honestly, where I'm at is the multiplayer alone sells this game for me. Now, does that mean we don't deserve a good single player? No. That kind of brings in that side of things where, here's the thing too, and I've said this before in other videos, when I got into Battlefield, I really got in, I think in the golden age, to be honest with you, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Bad Company 2, kind of the late 2000s, early 2010s. And in that era, they would have some pretty, have they ever had spectacular single player? I think they've had a couple really, really good ones. I think Bad Company 2 is probably the best one they've ever had. Have they ever been, 10 out of 10 things? No, I mean, you think about the golden age, maybe of Call of Duty, and you think about Modern Warfare 2, at least to me, those two. I know some people go to certain Black Ops games, but, they've had some really good runs at certain points of their history where they've told some of the all-time great shooter, single player stories. And I saw people even in the comments on Reddit talking about and I agree, it is hard to make single player games like this. You almost look back in a lot of respect for a lot of those games to say, is it hard to put a game out there that's 7-8 hours of just the most high octane action movie action that you've ever gotten? Is that hard? Yeah, it is. And I feel and I agree with other people that have said it, I feel as time has gone on, it's only gotten more difficult. I feel it's probably harder than ever to make just an 8-hour campaign that just freaking rocks. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to have a good story. It just, it really takes what the game is trying to do already in multiplayer and just throws that at you in a non-stop kind of action movie feel for 6 to 8 hours. that it's always been hard. I feel like it's really only been accomplished a few times. And again, like I don't want to try to make excuses. Like I think it's just a cool conversation. That's kind of why I'm talking about it. And I think both things can kind of be true at the same time, where it's like, well, it is hard, but also like there are expectations, and you should really try to make like the best Battlefield single player campaign that you can. And I mean, we've heard rumors about it before where like it was shaping up. Remember, there was a rumor like 2 months ago that the single player campaign could get delayed because it's like shaping out good, but there's a couple really big things they wanted to do in it, and they would run out of time. So they would either have to decide to like delay the single player component or take out some really cool moments in the campaign in order to get it out on time. I don't know if that's, because here's the thing, like from what they're saying, they kind of have a bigger overview than like a couple big moments that could have been cut from the game, right? Like these guys, both of them seem to have pretty extensive knowledge, of the situation. So I feel like it's just the whole campaign has like serious issues that maybe it needed like another year. Maybe, it's just kind of fundamentally flawed and it was screwed from the beginning. Like, I don't know, obviously, for sure, but I do wonder now. And, again, like, does it suck if this is all true? Yeah. Would it be surprising? Heck no. It's, and I think, I just feel, I think to Tom's point, it's kind of a good point. I don't know if it would get low 90s. I feel like that's actually quite high, but like, can the single player bring down an otherwise amazing game? It is a part of the game, so you kind of should factor that in. Now, again, I feel like it is possible to separate the two, to say, hey, if you're going in for multiplayer, obviously the single player doesn't really matter. If you're looking at the whole package, though, can one part weigh down the rest? And the answer is yes, obviously, but it depends on the person, depends on kind of what you're going in for. So to me, it's not the most deflating thing. Like, I would be disappointed if the campaign's like if it's terrible, I think I'd be actually really disappointed. But is it the be all end all? No, to be honest with you, at least not for me, because again, like I was always going to get it multiplayer first. But, that's not to lower standards and say, well, I'll take, just give me a single player. I don't care if it's good or bad. No, I would like a good single player campaign to go along with it. This is kind of like the bounce back of Battlefield they've been saying, right? It's like that's why all of these studios have different jobs. That's why an entire studio is tasked just with doing the single player campaign. And that's the thing, too. If the campaign sucks, it's literally one studio. It's like the studio that was assigned to do it. It's their problem. So that would not look good on them, I feel, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.